Textbook 1, Shared CSS and Centering Content. What we're going to do now is we're going to create an external style sheet. We've been writing all the styles for this web page in the head of the document. That's an embedded style. We want to use this on other pages. If we click to the other pages on our website that we're working on, you can notice that the text and the navigation is not styled as we have on the San Fran page because this does not have any styles embedded in the head of the document. We don't want to rewrite all these styles in each of the heads of the document. What we want to do is we want to create one external CSS file that all of these pages link to so they can share the styles. So we're going to go back to our San Fran page and we're going to go to our text editor Sublime and we're going to cut all of the CSS rules out of this. We're not taking the style tags with us. We're leaving the style tags in the head for right now. So we're just getting the last closing curly brace and we're going to go all the way up and we're going to get right under the opening style tag and we're going to cut this. Now we're going to make a new external style sheet in Sublime Text. We're just going to go File, New File. It's empty and we just paste all of our CSS rules into there. This will be our external style sheet. So we'll edit, paste, and there are all of our rules. Now we're going to save this as main.css. It's not an HTML page, it's a style sheet. And we're going to save this. And we're going to use CSS. And then we're going to place one that was already there. And there are styles, so let's save that. Let's go back and look at our San Fran page. Let's save that as it is and check it in the browser. Utter disaster, all our styles have gone. That's because it doesn't know where to find these styles yet. We need to create a link in the head of our document that says go to our new external style sheet, the main.css, and use the styles from there. So what we're going to do is go back to our text editor, and we don't need these opening and closing style tags anymore. Those can go away. We're deleting those. And where those were, we're going to write a link to our external style sheet so we can use the styles from that one. So we're going to go bracket. We're in the head of our document, right under the title. We're going to write link space rel and tell it we're going to link to a style sheet. Then we're going to come outside the quotes and give it the address. Our style sheet's in the same directory as the San Fran page, so we just have to give it the name of the style sheet to link to. So that's going to be href equals, put your quotes in, the name of our style sheet's main.css, and we close our tag with a bracket at the end. We'll save that. And let's check our page in the browser. And our styles are back. So we've linked to our external style sheet. We've moved our styles from the head of this document where they were embedded to an external style sheet and then linked to the style sheet. The benefits of the external style sheet for the whole website are you can update multiple pages more rapidly by updating only one group of style rules. And two, it keeps all the pages uniform looking because all the pages are using the same rules from that external style sheet. Now let's look at our other pages. These are plain looking. We need to add that same link to the head of all those documents. So let's go back and do that. I'm going to go into the head of my document and copy this link . I'm going to open up other pages from this website. We have an about page, so I'm going to go File, Open, and let's open the about.html. And notice there is a title, but there's no style, so right under the title tag, we're going to come in and edit, paste, I'll save that. And let's check that one in the browser. So if we go to the About, you can see that it's styled with that same style sheet as well. There's other pages such as the Contact. That one's not looking good. Let's go fix that one. Back to the style sheet, we can open up File, Open, and open the Contact page, and right under the title we have that link to the external style sheet on our clipboard. We can just paste that in. I'll save that. Check that in the browser. We're on that page and our styles are applied. We also have a index page, the main page of the site. That's this page. It doesn't look good, so let's go add the link to the external style sheet to clean up that page. So we can File, Open, Index page, and right under the title we can come in and paste our link to the external style sheet in there. Save that. Let's go test that in the browser. We'll refresh. That page is looking better. We also have a tips page and a packages page. So let's get both of those. Let's go ahead and get the packages page. Open that right under the title. You can paste in the link to the external style sheet. Check that one, refresh. Yes, it's using our style sheet. And we also have a tips page, which looks ugly. So let's go fix that one in our text editor. File, Open, Tips. Right under the title. Paste that in. Save that. That page looks good. So now we've created an external style sheet and linked all of the pages on our website to that same style sheet. So now when we make edits to that style sheet, it's going to make edits on all the pages that we've connected it to. Let's center things on our web page now. I'm going to go back to our San Fran page. That's the one we're used to working on. We're going to center the logo. We're going to center the navigation. We're going to center the main content area, and we're going to center the footer at the bottom so it all lines up in the middle of the page and looks a little bit more elegant. So first thing we're going to do is go to our external style sheet and go to the header to center our logo. So we want to put the logo in the middle of the page. While I'm at the text editor, I'm going to close our extra pages that we're not actually dealing with. I just want my San Fran and my main CSS open. So we're going to be on the main style sheet now because we're actually styling the page and all the other pages at the same time. So we're going to go to where our header rule is, and we're going to punch in at the very bottom of that header rule before the closing curly brace. And we're going to write text align center. Colon and center. Now the logo is not text, but it's an inline element. So you can use the text align center for any inline element since an image is an inline element. So we'll save that. Go over here and refresh. And we've begun to center our content. So we're going to do the same thing for the nav area. We're going to go back to our external style sheet and find our nav. And I can just copy that text align center because it's going to be the exact same code. I'll save that and refresh. And things are still centering. Now our main content is not an inline piece of content. It's a block content. It's inside of our main semantic area, and that's a block of content. So we're going to have to do something different to center that. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go to our main area and do the margin left auto and the margin right auto in the rule to get that part to center. So let's go to and let's look at our page for a second. You can see that here it is. There's the block level element that all of our text and our image is inside. There's the opening main. Here's a closing main. So there's a lot of block level elements in there. So we're going to have to use the margins to center this area. So let's go back to our style sheet. We'll go to where our main is. And right here in our main rule, we'll write a new declaration under the margin bottom. We'll go margin dash left auto. And we can do the same thing for margin right auto. We can just copy that, paste that in, and change one thing and code a little bit less. It's always good to code quickly this way. Go margin right auto. Now let's save and check our page. And that centers up as well. So things are looking good. Last thing is down at the bottom though, we have a footer, and the footer is hiding way over here at the left side of the page. We want to center the footer too. So we're going to use the same margin left auto and margin right auto to center the footer because it's in a block level element as well. So that's really easy. We just go back to our main style sheet, the main.css, and we can use the same code we did for margin left and margin right in the main. I can edit, copy that, go down to the bottom of our footer, and paste in those two similar declarations that will center the bottom area, the footer area. Save that and refresh. And our footer centers up. The text is over in the left part of that block, but that does get it in line with all of our other text. And also when we narrow the viewport, you can still see it looks elegant. So you expand it. Now let's look at our other pages. Notice they're centered too. The reason they centered as well is we centered from the external style sheet that's controlling all our pages. That's why an external style sheet is so beautiful. That main.css, if we edit that, it applies our style rules to all the pages. So we centered once and 7 pages on our website all centered at the same time. That's a pretty cool deal. Now let's tune up our margins a little bit. Let's go up into our body selector tag and add a margin of 0 on our style sheet. So we'll come up here, find the body. I'm going to clean this up and just move it over a little bit just so it looks good. Just clean up our margins. I don't want any extra margin. Now in our header, we're going to do something with some padding. We're going to add some padding to the top of a header. Before we do that, let's go look at it. Let's save this. Refresh that. We'll go back to San Fran. Now if we want to add some padding to the top of our header, notice how close to the top of the document our logo is. If we add padding to the top of our header, we'll create a little more space or breathing room between the top of our browser and our logo. So let's go ahead and add that in on the external style sheet. So we're on main.css. And we're going to go padding dash top, colon, and we're going to add 20 pixels. Let's save that and check our work. Notice it created just a little bit more white space. That looks a little more balanced in our design. Now you're going to notice we're going to clean up some of the code in our H1 and our H2s as well. We have redundant code that's doing the same thing twice. So let's look at our H1s and our H2s. And let's go ahead and code an H1 and an H2 that use the same color. Notice we're using the same color in our H1 and our H2, and we've written that twice. So what we can do is right above the H1 and H2, we can write a combination tag selector rule, so we only have that color in there once. So we can go H1, comma, H2. That means it'll apply to both of them. Put your curly braces in. And you can copy the color out of one. So we'll cut that. Put that color up there. Close our code a little bit, clean it up. And we can take the color completely out of that one because it's going to apply it from our H1, H2. While we're here, let's set a font weight of normal for both of those. Make it just a little more elegant in those two headings. Now that we've done that, let's save it and test it to see what happens. Go back to our browser. Scroll down where we can see our headings. That one's broken. We need to go in and find out why that one's broken. Let's go back and look at that. Let's look at another page. Yeah, our heading H1 and H2 are both green and they're less thick. Let's go and figure out why on our San Fran that our H1 is not happening. It's this image right above it. You can see I don't have a closing bracket, and that's negating the H1 to work. One character can ruin your day. So let's save that and go back and check our San Fran page. Great, there's our H1. It's green, same color. It's a little bit less bold. There's our H2. It's a little less bold, but it's still green. Now let's go in and style our footer content. We want to do some work on this. It's looking kind of bland down here. So we're going to make it an Arial font. We're going to make the color change a little bit. We're going to change the size, and notice how it's mixed case. We want to make it all uppercase. So let's go to our external style sheet, go to the main.css and find our footer rule. Here's our footer. And under the margin autos that we've used to center it, we can just punch in and write a new declaration for font family, font-family, colon. Remember, this is a wish list. Arial, comma, Helvetica, comma, sans serif. And remember, this is a wish list because these fonts actually have to be installed on the user's computer for them to show up. So if it doesn't have Arial, it'll go to Helvetica next and then sans serif last. Let's go ahead and set a font size. Font-size, colon, and make that 12 pixels. After that, one last thing, let's do a text-transform and make them all uppercase because they're mixed case right now. All right, let's go see what happens when we look at this. So it gets a little smaller, goes a little bit gray, and it's all uppercase now. So let's add what looks like to be a horizontal rule between the footer and the end of our main area. It's not really going to be a horizontal rule. We're going to actually use the top border of the footer to simulate a horizontal rule. We'll create a line using the top border of the container for the footer. So let's go back and write some code for that. We'll still be in the footer area. We'll write a new declaration to create that line. So we're going to go border to work on the top of the border. The footer is a box, so it does have a border. So border top, colon. We're going to make the line 1 pixel in width, or thick actually. Give it a space. We're going to make it a solid line. Give it a space. We're going to put some hex color in there to color the line. So put your hashtag in and 6Ds. All right, let's save that and check it in the browser. Fresh. You can see a faint little line down there that's separating our main from our footer. Kind of a nice little delineation. So let's add some padding to move that away a little bit. So we're going to go back into the footer and write some padding. Go padding dash top. If we don't do top, it would do it to all sides, and we just want to add the padding to the top to move that away just a little bit. Padding top, and we'll go 20 pixels. We'll save that. Let's check that. And you noticed it was inside the box that we created the line with, and it just created a little bit more white space between the line and the copyright notice. We're also going to add some lines to the top of all of our H2s. We want to separate where our H2s are, so we break up this content in the main area a little bit. Our H2s are things to do and local travel tips. So let's go ahead and add that same type of line that we added to the top of the footer. The cool thing about that is we've already written the code. We just have to copy and paste it for a quick edit. So we want to take the padding and the new line that we've done by making a solid top of the border into a gray line. So we're going to edit, copy this. We'll go to our H2 tag is. Right here on H2. We don't want to put it in the combined one because we don't want the line under the H1. We just want it in H2. Edit, paste. We'll save that on our main.css sheet. Go back to our browser, and you can now see the lines right above that H2 that helps separate or chunk out our content a little bit to make it more usable. And here's our other H2, and it breaks that up a little bit. So it kind of breaks the sections up of the things to do from the local travel tip section, which is a really, really good usability trick.